This morning's Old Testament lesson is a story that is at least partially familiar to most of us. The story of the golden calf. This image has been used in all sorts of different media across the ages. But it's a story that we are so familiar with that we tend to look over some of the details. It could be easy to think, didn't they just get the 10 Commandments and now they've broken the first two? How do you go from this God speaking out of the cloud to Moses, giving the 10 Commandments, and then right away they're like, well, we don't know about this Moses guy. Aaron, you make us new gods, and we'll worship them. But what we miss from the story, because we tend to not read Exodus all the way through, is that Moses has been up on this mountain with God, separated from the Israelite people, for 40 days and 40 nights. That would be a long time today. But imagine what it would have been like to be wandering in the wilderness and your leader disappears for 40 days and 40 nights. You might feel abandoned. You might feel like your leader has left. That maybe there's something else you should be doing. You got to move on with something. And so I find it's easier to see why the Israelite people would so readily fall into sin. And the more I think about it, the more I realize we do the same thing today. We all have our own golden calves. We have our moments where we value something above God. Be honest with yourselves for a few moments and realize how many times you've said, oh, I can't live without my smartphone. Oh, I couldn't get by if I couldn't have email access at home. Oh, I couldn't get by if I didn't have this job. I need to do this job. Oh, I'm really tired this morning. It'll be okay if I don't show up to church this Sunday. It'll be all right. Oh, I know that person over there could really use some help, but I don't feel comfortable going over there to help them out on my own, so I'll let someone else handle it. Oh, I hear all these people crying out for help, and no one's really listening, and people would listen to me if I stood up and said something, but I don't feel comfortable being in front of other people. And what if they start attacking me too? We've all done one or more of those things at some point in our life. We've all been to a place where our own sense of comfort and self is valued above our relationship with God. Those are the golden calf moments of our lives. And it's sad to admit this, but we bring those golden calves into our church as well. The Episcopal Church has a rich and beautiful history and tradition. And I want to preface what I'm going to say by saying there is absolutely nothing wrong with Episcopal liturgy. But there are times where we worship our liturgy more than we worship God. There are times when we Episcopalians say, is that acolyte wearing sandals? Why didn't that chalice bearer hold the chalice in the right way? Don't they know that the candles aren't in the right place? Oh, that procession wasn't done in the right order. Is that a layperson speaking from the pulpit? All these things that in the moment we would say for us ruin worship. it's not done just so we can't worship. But the reality is, we don't gather on Sunday morning so that an acolyte can wear appropriate footwear. We don't gather on Sunday morning so that the chalice bearer is holding the chalice just so. We don't gather on Sunday mornings because of our liturgy. Our liturgy is a tool that we use to help us get to a place where we can acknowledge and worship the God who created us. The God who loved us so much that even in this moment of being completely infuriated with his people, who have broken 2 commandments at once. And I can see God being so frustrated because I've done a lot of work with teenagers and children and know how much they don't like to follow rules. And I like to picture God and Moses as a bickering married couple. Moses, do you see what your people are doing down there at the base of this mountain? The people that you brought out of Egypt, I'm going to have to deal with them, so I need you to leave me alone for a bit. And Moses' response is, of course, not to leave God alone. God, why are you so angry with your people that you brought out of Egypt? But in the midst of his fury, of his anger, God still has mercy. God still loves us so much that even us continually failing, continually breaking, willfully breaking the rules he has set for us, God says, I still love you, and I still have a plan for you. What are the golden calves of our life? Tomorrow night, our vestry is going to take a long, hard look at the survey results that you all have submitted. And we have a big job as leaders of the church, because we have to look at what you've said you want, where you feel St. Mark's should go, and simultaneously identify where the golden calves are in our church. What are the things that we value so much that God is secondary? What are the things we can't change because, if we change that, then, church just doesn't happen. And how can we start looking at what we do as a church and look at it not from if we do this, this is going to make us appear this way to other people, and that's the appearance we want. But instead, if we do this, that'll help us worship God. If we do this, we will have a service in place that brings people to a place where they can live, like St. Paul said, rejoice always. Again, I say rejoice. What are our golden calves? How can we dismantle them? How can we set a future for the church that is focused on God above all else? Vestry members who are here, you have a tall task ahead of you tomorrow night. But I'll be praying for us. And I hope everyone else here will be praying for us as well. That we can find a future for St. Mark's that honors God above all else. That is a place where we can have our rich and beautiful Episcopal heritage and tradition, but done in such a way that it amplifies God. And in such a way that allows you all to amplify God in your own lives, even when you're not physically present in this building. That you can be enriched to go out into a world that needs to know the light of Christ. You can find ways to praise God away from this church building. Let's find the golden calves. Let's accept that they are there. And let's use the transformative power of our God to make ourselves a people that exist in worship of a loving Creator, that exudes the love of God at all times and in all places. That we are a people that can find that we can, in fact, rejoice at all times, even in the midst of sorrow. Because our God is that amazing. Because our God is that great. That the only thing that can ever exist between us and God is love. Let's become that people today and always. Amen.
Hi, I'm Moses. Not very good at public speaking, but I've had identity issues for over 40 years.
Hi, Moses.
I remember the first time someone asked me if I built the ark. I parted the Red Sea. I didn't need no stinking ark. No offense, Noah.
Thanks for sharing, Moses. Samson, how are you feeling?
What frustrates me is that all people can remember is that I'm strong. There's more to me than my muscles. I enjoy poetry and crochet. I cried at the end of Still Magnolias.
Me too.
It's just so frustrating.
You see, only by expressing how you feel can we walk toward the path of healing. Noah, what about you?
Well, I was in construction for a few years, and
Sorry, is this support and recovery for people dealing with rejection?
No!
That's down the hall.
Hey, aren't you Moses? Let my people go! That's awesome stuff, man. And you must be David from the Lion's Den, right? Again?
I think we're going to need a couple more sessions.